So what are some of the common themes in filtered disco music? Well, the most obvious one is, of course, it's all disco, blended with house, like I mentioned in the previous tutorial. The other thing that is very important is it's always cool. You need to have cool samples, be it disco, be it funk or soul music. It's all from that 60s and 70s era that was all about cool club music at the time. Later on, it started to become more commercial, and disco influences were blended in with pop music. Those became the big hits, the big radio hits, and those are the tracks you don't want to sample from. It is not about the commercial sounding popcorn type of disco music. It's really the cool stuff. You want to inject your house track with a bit of cool. So that can be funk or soul music, disco music, anything that gives that special danceable, funky vibe to a track. The typical commercial disco music from the 70s and early 80s are not cool enough. You know, it's hard to explain, but at some point, if you do this a lot, you'll start to recognize which styles of disco are cool and which are not. And that still translates to dance floors today. You know, if you find a really cool sample in either a sample pack or an old disco record that you can then clear with the publisher, you should never try and get away with stealing someone else's music, of course. I'm really against that. So try to, play it as honest as possible, as cool as possible. And, if you find that cool sample, you'll recognize that it's cool. And if it fits in your house track. So that's a typical common theme of filter disco. Coolness, disco, funk, soulful, fun. It's got to be fun, it's got to have that good vibe. It can be cool and tough sounding, but it'll still have that fun vibe, that party vibe. So those are a couple common themes. Let's go to the next tutorial and talk about a couple more.